So we know out of the whole crack epidemic came hip hop. Now we all know about Eric B and Rakim. We know about, what does it mean? Everybody remember that song? Remember Schoolie D and PSK, and, KRS-One and BDP, Cypress Hill, Ice-T, 6 in the morning, all that. All them songs came up out of the whole crack thing. They was rapping about what they was doing in the hood, selling drugs and this and that. It was to some point glamorized. It was glamorized, but they was spitting real stuff. Now that's in the beginning. That's when hip hop was ours. Hip hop was ours at that time. White America wasn't paying attention to it. Mainstream media wasn't paying attention to it. None of the major corporations was paying attention to it until NWA sold 1 million copies, and then it blew up. So now, before we get into all that, you got to remember, before gangster rap and before everything took off, we got to remember that Public Enemy, Chuck D and a lot of other celebrities came out, and there was so many commercials and so much celebrities speaking against crack. Hip hop basically, well, it kind of destroyed crack during that time. It was responsible for lowering the whole thing with crack. That and the fact that people was going to jail for life and got so many years. Hip hop really came together and was like, this is wrong. We need to stop talking about this. We need to stop promoting it. And so many rappers was coming against crack, and it slowly started to die. So now crack is starting to run its course. You got little pockets of crack dealers here and there. Of course, it still existed in the black community, of course, because I grew up with the whole crack thing. I remember in the 90s, crack was still popping, especially in my neighborhood. So, but it wasn't as widespread, or even it wasn't at least promoted in the media as it being as big as it was, during the mid 80s, late 80s. But crack was still around, of course. But it started to really die down, and people started to really try to do something with themselves, and that wasn't good for these people, obviously. So they needed a new crack. They needed something else to keep these prisons filled, of course, and to keep the black community down and to keep us destroying each other. So of course, gangster rap was promoted. Gangster rap was allowed to be put out. And you got to understand something. This is what people are not getting. People don't understand the power of music. Music on its own is deadly. Music combined with visualization is even deadlier. So you got to understand how music affects the brain and the body on a scientific level. So, for instance, you got these rappers rapping about the crack gang. Basically, their life, what they were seeing in the streets. They were seeing drug dealing, crack whores, so they was rapping about it. And from that, they was getting gold chains. They was getting nice cars. They was getting girls. So when you put all this together, the visualization of your reality combined with the music, and you put that out there to the public, of course it's going to be imitated. So kids are going to see this, and they're going to say to themselves, this is how I get money. This is what I need to do. I got to sell drugs. I got to sell crack. Then I can be like these guys. I can have the chains, and I can have the cars, and I can have everything I'm seeing in these music videos. Everything I'm hearing about in these lyrics, this is what I can have, so this is what I need to do. So music is very powerful, but it can also have the reverse effect, because we saw with Public Enemy, with Chuck D and them rapping against crack, that it died down, because people was hearing a positive message through music. Now, I want you to, take a listen to how powerful music is, because if I tell you, I don't think you're going to believe me. So I want you, some qualified people more than me to tell you exactly what music can do, how powerful it is, and how it can affect the brain and the body. Take a look. Now,
let me start with the observation that most of the sound around us is accidental, and much of it is unpleasant. We stand on street corners shouting over noise like this and pretending that it doesn't exist. Well, this habit of suppressing sound has meant that our relationship with sound has become largely unconscious. There are 4 major ways sound is affecting you all the time, and I'd like to raise them in your consciousness today. First is physiological. Sorry about that, I've just given you a shot of cortisol, your fight-flight hormone. Sound's affecting your hormone secretions all the time, but also your breathing, your heart rate, which I just also did, and your brain waves. It's not just unpleasant sounds like that do it. This is surf. It has a frequency of roughly 12 cycles per minute. Most people find that very soothing, and interestingly, 12 cycles per minute is roughly the frequency of the breathing of a sleeping human. So there's a deep resonance with being at rest. We also associate it with being stress-free and on holiday. The second way in which sound affects you is psychological. Music is the most powerful form of sound that we know that affects our emotional state. This is guaranteed to make most of you feel pretty sad if I leave it on. Music is not the only kind of sound, however, which affects your emotions. Natural sound can do that too. Birdsong, for example, is a sound which most people find reassuring. There's a reason for that. Over hundreds of thousands of years, we've learned that when the birds are singing, things are safe. It's when they stop you need to be worried. The third way in which sound affects you is cognitively. You can't understand two people talking at once, or in this case, one person talking twice.
To the other one.
You have to choose which me you're going to listen to. We have a very small amount of bandwidth for processing auditory input, which is why noise like this is extremely damaging for productivity. If you have to work in an open plan office like this, your productivity is greatly reduced, and whatever number you're thinking of, it probably isn't as bad as this. You are 1/3 as productive in open plan offices as in quiet rooms. And I have a tip for you. If you have to work in spaces like that, carry headphones with you with a soothing sound like birdsong, put them on, and your productivity goes back up to triple what it would be. The fourth way in which sound affects us is behaviorally. With all that other stuff going on, it would be amazing if our behavior didn't change. So ask yourself, is this person ever going to drive at a steady 28 miles per hour? I don't think so. At the simplest, you move away from unpleasant sound and towards pleasant sound. So if I were to play this, for more than a few seconds, you'd feel uncomfortable. For more than a few minutes, you'd be leaving the room in droves. For people who can't get away from noise like that, it's extremely damaging for their health. And that's not the only thing that bad sound damages. Most retail sound is inappropriate and accidental and even hostile, and it has a dramatic effect on sales. For those of you who are retailers, you may want to look away before I show this slide. They're losing up to 30% of their business, with people leaving shops faster or just turning around on the door. We all have done it, and leaving the area because the sound in there is so dreadful. I want to spend just a moment talking about the model that we've developed, which allows us to start at the top and look at the drivers of sound, analyze the soundscape, and then predict the 4 outcomes I've just talked about, or start at the bottom and say what outcomes do we want, and then design a soundscape to have a desired effect. At last, we've got some science we can apply, and we're in the business of designing soundscapes. Just a word on music. Music is the most powerful sound there is, often inappropriately deployed. It's powerful for 2 reasons. You recognize it fast, and you associate it very powerfully. I'll give you 2 examples. Most of you recognize that immediately. The younger, maybe not. And most of you associate that with something. Now, those are 1-second samples of music. Music is very powerful, and unfortunately, it's veneering commercial spaces, often inappropriately. I hope that's going to change over the next few years. Let me just talk about brands for a moment, because some of you run brands. Every brand is out there making sound right now. There are 8 expressions of a brand in sound. They're all important, and every brand needs to have guidelines at the center. I'm glad to say that is starting to happen now. You all recognize that one? This is the most played tune in the world today. 1.8 billion times a day, that tune is played, and it costs Nokia absolutely nothing. Just leave you with 4 golden rules for those of you who run businesses for commercial sound. First, make it congruent, pointing in the same direction as your visual communication. That increases impact by over 1,100%. If your sound is pointing in the opposite direction, incongruent, you reduce impact by 86%. That's an order of magnitude up or down. This is important. Secondly, make it appropriate to the situation. Thirdly, make it valuable. Give people something with the sound. Don't just bombard them with stuff. And finally, test it and test it again. Sound is complex. There are many countervailing influences. It can be a bit like a bowl of spaghetti. Sometimes you have to just eat it and see what happens. So I hope this talk has raised sound in your consciousness. If you're listening consciously, you can take control of the sound around you. It's good for your health. It's good for your productivity. If we all do that, we move to a state that I like to think will be sound living in the world. I'm going to leave you with a little bit more birdsong. I recommend at least 5 minutes a day, but there is no maximum dose. Thank you for lending me your ears today. Thank you.
Music has a lot of power, more power than people imagine. There are scientific studies that show that if someone has had surgery and you play certain types of music, the wounds, the surgical wounds will heal faster with certain types of music than with others. And that is something that goes back to synchronous and dysynchronous rhythms. Our bodies live on rhythm. Hip-hop is powerful because it alters the natural rhythms of our body. That's why if you've ever been in a real nightclub where the music is real loud and the system is set up right, when you come out, your heart palpitates. And anybody who really has lived a club life knows what I'm talking about. Your heart palpitates because the beat of and that's why bass is used, because it overrides. That heavy bass, boom, boom. Whatever beat it sets to, your body tries to reset to it. Because you feel literally the vibration coming through the floors. And so our bodies are on a rhythm. And if you know, we should have between 60 to 90 as a normal, 50 even if you're a real athletic person, 50 to 90 beats per minute of your heart rate. These songs change that. And of course, the body is made so that you beat regularly. Sinus rhythm is a regular rhythm. The sinus node of your heart sends this rhythm out, and it should beat very regularly. But dissynchronous music, what it does is it crosses up that rhythm. And so what begins to happen is you're no longer hitting every second or every 3/4 of a second a regular rhythm, because the beats are off. They're set off. Your body rhythm goes off. When that happens, your mind, everything about you, how you're oxygenated, everything that happens to you is off. And anybody knows that one of the ways to get someone high is to cause anoxia or hypoxemia, which is to lower their oxygen level. That's why we have these stories in the hospital, these young girls who suffocate themselves or strangle themselves, young boys even, trying to get this weird high. It's very popular now among young people. And people think it's suicide, but what it is a craze where people are looking for another level of high. It's satanic. And it's a cult, but they'll strangle themselves from their closets. We've had reports of that even here. And they'll strangle themselves because if you can get close to being, lowering your oxygen levels real low, you get a buzz, you get a high. And that is part of what happens when the music is dissynchronous enough, when the beats are off enough. If you mess with the way the heart beats, you mess with the way the body is oxygenated. And so literally your brain begins to function differently and your defenses go down, more importantly. What begins to happen then is that, first of all, regular life becomes boring. If there's something that changes the way you function and adds pleasure to it, you're going to seek that pleasure. And so it changes things. So it's hard to sit through a class. How do you sit and focus on a teacher who's simply speaking in regular English with no beat, no rhythm, no nothing, or worse? If you have a lobectomy, as it's been called, and they take out this part, you lose your personality, but you lose your ability to reason. This is where the music becomes incredibly dangerous, because out of this frontal lobe is where your reasoning center is. And what happens is there's a chemical released in your brain called dopamine that makes you feel high. And once anything does that, and music is a very good way to release dopamine and stimulate emotional response, once you do that, you seek after whatever you release dopamine for. And so music becomes a literal drug. Now, that's what cocaine does. Cocaine is a powerful dopamine agonist. It makes your brain release tons of dopamine. I keep telling you guys about how one hit of a crack cocaine, and maybe I shouldn't say this on camera because I don't want anybody to go try it, but it's about 100 to 1,000 times as powerful a release of dopamine as an orgasm is. And like we were saying last night, that's why a crack addict can go without sex. And food. Food is another one. You eat good food, dopamine is released. It's pleasurable. That's why you look forward to it. Your mouth salivates at the smell of it. Right. You begin to prepare to have it even before it's there. So what has happened to our young people is that this frontal lobe is your defense system. Music bypasses the frontal lobe. It enters. Your ears are way back here. Your frontal lobe is way up here. This is your temporal lobe. Music bypasses your frontal lobe, gets into your brain, so that when music is given to you, whatever message is tied to the music is not properly analyzed.
Now, one of the things that the doctor was talking about in that video, he was saying how your heart tries to adjust to the beat, to the rhythm of the music. And your body actually follows the rhythm of the music. So when you decide to consciously let yourself go with the music, your body follows. So you start to dance. You have to make a conscious effort to not bob your head, when the song comes on. You have to make a conscious effort not to, dance, not to get up and hit the floor. Because as soon as you allow yourself to succumb to the power of the music, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start to move. You're going to start to dance to the rhythm. And that's your body adjusting to the rhythm, because they are allowing themselves to succumb to the rhythm. Now, kids, they usually don't have a choice. Sometimes they can do it, but you see younger kids, they get in front of the TV, they hear that music, they start shaking to the rhythm. Nobody taught your kid how to dance. Your kid is just learning how to walk. Sometimes kids don't even walk yet. They can crawl. But when they hear that music, they'll climb up on something, or they'll rock back and forth. We've all seen this. This is the power of music. Now, one of the things I want you to understand is that the ancient Egyptians and most of the Africans speak a tonal language. They speak in tones. Now, Vietnamese has 11 different vowel sounds and it has 6 different tones. Now, Cantonese has a complex 6-tone system. And Thai is even a very complex tonal system, tonal language. But English has no tones at all. Now, as a matter of fact, the Rothman Research Institute in Toronto, they was actually studying, tonal language. And they realized that people who speak tonal language actually can really decipher music better than other people. They have a real rhythm. Their brain is already set to the rhythm of music. So it's real easy for them to play instruments or sing and, things of that nature. So the neuroscientists at the Rothman Institute, they basically said that if you speak a tonal language, it improves how your brain hears music. It improves how your brain hears tones. And they came to the conclusion that music is a language. Now, before you speak, a stimulation occurs in the brain, and then the words, flow out. Now, people who speak in tones, when they speak, the tone of that language comes back to the brain through the ears, and it actually stimulates the brain. So the implications are people who speak a tonal language over time actually improve a higher brain development. So basically more parts of the brain become developed and they become smarter. Now let's just think about a dog who doesn't speak English. Just think about tones here. Think about visualization. So a dog, what happens? You tell a dog to speak. After he speaks, you give him a treat. Now, the dog is going to take the representation of that treat. Whenever they see it, whatever tone comes out of your mouth, their brain is going to hear that tone and obey that command in order to get that treat. So if the tone is to speak, he's going to bark. He hear that tone. That's what he understands. He understands the tone. Dog don't understand English. It's the tone he understands. So he's going to do whatever that tone tells him in order to get that treat. Now, I want you to think of the implications of what I just said and apply it to hip hop music. Apply it to music. Apply it to hip hop music videos. See, we have to understand positive and negative tones. One tone is going to be positive. It's going to help your brain function. It's going to make you smarter. Another kind of tone is going to destroy your brain. It's going to make you lose control. It won't stimulate the brain at all. It's going to take control of the brain and force you to act out and do what that tone is telling you to do. So, black people, we always wonder why white people send their kids to music schools and why they make them play an instrument like the violin or the piano when they're growing up. What's that whole thing about? Why do rich white people get all dressed up, all fancy, just to go hear somebody play Mozart or Beethoven? See, we didn't understand, we didn't get what was the whole fuss with Bach and Beethoven and Mozart. What was the whole fuss with classical music? It was just a bunch of guys playing piano or playing violin. What was the whole thing with that? But what they was doing, these geniuses actually played certain music, certain songs at certain tones that would stimulate a higher brain function, that would actually help your brain develop and make you smarter. This is what these guys did. So you have Mozart, who has the sonata for 2 pianos. Played at D major, this song actually stimulates the brain. This song actually, it's been documented as helping stop seizures in patients who have epilepsy. It's amazing. You can Google it yourself. So these people knew how powerful this music was and that it actually stimulated the brain. Beethoven Symphonies 5 and 6 improves brain activity when played at certain frequencies. And that's another thing about all this music. They figured out if you play this at different frequencies, because I said before, everything operates on frequencies, then it has different ways of affecting the brain. So basically, like at 18 hertz, improves memory, language, and processing power of the brain. So you can actually do math a lot better while listening to this music at 18 hertz. So when you think about all that, you see why classical music is associated with wealth, with refinement, with intelligence. it's associated with a higher level of people, a wealthier people. So when you think about classical music in that aspect, you see why the relationship with people who are wealthy and successful goes hand in hand with the music. So look at hip hop music. What does hip hop music associate with? Well, you already know the answer to that. So hip hop music is associated with a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of mess. And we think that's us. We think that's what we are about. Oh, this our music, this black music. That's what we about. We about gang banging, shaking ass, and shooting niggas in the head. But they listen to Bach and Beethoven and Mozart, and they about wealth. So the music they listen to is reflecting their reality, wealth. This is why they're becoming geniuses. You got these Albert Einsteins, and look at Steve Jobs, people like him, and look at people like Bill Gates who are intelligent. This is what their music is doing to them, and look at what our music is doing to us. So you understand what I'm talking about, and we think it's ours. This is why they let us keep hip hop. As I said earlier, we gotta figure out why they take away all the good stuff, and we really gotta pay attention to what they let us keep. This is why they let you keep hip hop, because they know what it's doing to your brain. But I know y'all, I know my people, I know how y'all act, I know what y'all gonna say. Man, I ain't giving up my hip hop, man, you crazy, you tripping. But you gotta understand, you don't really have to give up your music. You need to be conscious of how the music is affecting your brain. That's all. Just be conscious of it and understand what it's doing to you. Now, if you have everything you need in life, if you are where you want to be at in life, you obviously can't blame this music. You're doing well. The music is not influencing you. But if you are not where you want to be at in life, if you're having troubles, and if you're dealing with certain people who listen to certain music, at some point you got to put this together and understand it's the music. It's affecting you. You don't see it or you don't want to admit it, but it is. Look at what these people are accomplishing listening to this classical music. This is why they tell you let your babies listen to the music while they're in the womb, so they develop a higher brain function early. This is what they're doing to their children. We let our children come out and we got them shaking their ass already at an early age. It's not funny, but we got them listening to, all kinds of stuff. Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z when they little. How you think that's affecting their brain? Come on. You gotta understand, guess where they got this knowledge from? Guess where Bach and Beethoven, guess where they got this information from? From you, from your ancestors, from black people. That's where they got it from. They got it from us. And look what they give us. So we gonna take this classical nice music and we gonna develop ourselves. Y'all can go ahead and have y'all hip hop and see what happens to y'all. But y'all want to be cool, and this is what's going to happen. This is what's happening to our peoples. Now understand, black people, Africans speak tonal language. The ancient Egyptians spoke tonal language. All of those African villages you go to and you can't understand what the hell they're saying, that's a tonal language that they speak in. So what was one of the first things they did when they enslaved the Africans was they got rid of their language. Language is gone. Some of those languages we'll never hear again. It was completely wiped out. We don't know, how the Egyptian language sounded. It's gone. It's gone forever. But remember what I was saying earlier in the video about, the Bible, Genesis 11, 1 through 9, is speaking about a people who was united in their language, in their speech. They were as one. They was united. So what does that mean? The implication for this is huge. Now, I recently returned from Thailand. While I was in Thailand, I actually spoke with one of the Buddhist monks there. We talked about a few things, but one of the things we did speak about was the Thai language and how it's a tonal language. And he said, a lot of people relate tonal language to music, but what they really should relate it to is to animals. And when you think about animals, when you think about monkeys and, a lion, when a lion roars, you can feel the vibration of that roar. They speak in tones. Even elephants speak in tones. You can hear that tone, when they make their sound. So animals that travel in packs, like wolves and lions and elephants and buffalo, they're actually stronger when they are in packs. So one of them can actually make a sound and it'll affect the whole group. It'll reverberate down through the whole tribe. So, when you speak the words out, it comes back in your ear and, you're hearing that. But when you make a sound in the group, you're not the only person who's hearing that sound. So the stimulation that's going to occur in your brain is going to also occur in theirs. So for instance, you see a pack of buffalo, near the water trying to get a drink. One of them gets attacked and he makes a sound. Another buffalo hears that sound, but that sound does not only produce a stimulation in the brain, it causes a reaction. So that's going to reverberate throughout the group. So we've all seen in nature videos when that one buffalo gets attacked, next thing you know, they all take off. And this happens really fast with animals. It's just a bite comes out of the water from an alligator, and then everybody's gone. Even that one that was way in the back who ain't even see what happened. He the first one to go, because if he don't move, everybody else can't move. So you can see the power of sound. And we do it as humans all the time. You can be in a room. As a matter of fact, if I'm next to you and I turn around and I say, oh shit, and I take off running, you're going to take off running, because that sound, oh shit, we know that means danger. You're going to take off running with me and looking back like, what the hell is going on? Some people not even going to look back. They're just going to run when you run. So, we feel energy all the time through sound. Now, all of us, have been in a room where somebody started arguing and it felt like a fight was going to occur. But you can feel the tension in the air. You can feel the emotion of it. When somebody's getting cursed out real bad, you can feel it. When you feel the energy of a fight about to occur, it's something that affects everybody in the room. This is the power of sound. So I've said all of that just to show you how hip hop music affects your brain. Because you have to understand something. If you are rich, the emotion, the brain stimulation for money, nice cars, girls, clothes, it's already filled. It's filled up already. You can't really do nothing with it. It's done already. But if you are poor, if you have that stimulation, if you have that emotion, that feeling for wanting money, wanting cars, wanting girls, you need to stimulate it. And that's what hip hop music and music videos does. It stimulates that brain function. It stimulates that emotion. So when you see your favorite rapper with all these girls and these cars and rapping about this, your brain is trying to stimulate itself. So it's going to emulate what it's hearing and what it's seeing. So now, instead of you having most of these black teens wanting to be doctors and, something positive, they want to be rappers. So they're going to imitate what they're hearing, what's stimulating their brain, and that's the hip hop music. So what do most rappers do? Most underground rappers, they don't even have 100 followers. They don't even got 50 followers. Yet they want to go put out an album. They want to put out a mixtape because they know that's what these rappers who are stimulating their brain, these big time guys, that's what they do. They put out albums. So they want to go hit the studio. They want to put out a mixtape. They ain't got 100 followers, but they want to put out a mixtape. That's them following it. So when you see these drug dealers selling drugs, calling women bitches and hoes and, pouring drinks on girls and treating girls like shit, guess what they doing? They are following what they are hearing and what they are seeing in these hip hop music videos. It's stimulating their brain and they are acting it out. You have to understand the people who bring you this music know all about it from day one. So remember I was saying back in the 80s, when they seen that the positive hip hop music died down crack, guess what happened in 1988? The Grammys, the same people that give you the Grammy Awards, they came up with the Grammy Institute. So now the Grammy Institute, they give money, they give funding to people, to neuroscientists like people at the Rotman Institute and other neuroscientists who do research and studies on the power of music and sound as it relates to the human brain. They give them money, they do funding on it. And then what they do is they invite all of the CEOs of major corporations, the CEOs of these record labels, to these seminars, and they show them what kind of tones, what kind of sounds they can use to affect their customers, to affect the population. So also you have to think about this. If you want to affect a certain population, you're going to put out certain music to them. So for the black community, what do we have? We have hip hop. So if you want the girls to follow a certain trend, you know what kind of music you got to put out. If you want the men to follow a certain trend or do a certain things, you have to relate these trends to certain music, and certain sounds have to go into it. So music combined with Visualization creates stimulation. So that music comes from a voice. That voice is attached to a person. So that person, the image of them also creates stimulation of the mind and the emotions. So when people see their favorite artist, they go crazy. You know, girls get all excited when they see Trey Songz. And it's all related to the same thing. This is being used to control you. So if you want to create a certain image or change the atmosphere around a certain group of people, you just interject music and visualization. So if I want all the girls to start twerking, I just get their favorite artist to start twerking. I get the person who they look up to the most to start twerking. And then it's going to reverberate down through the group. That's what's going to happen. And that's what we are seeing. They're controlling us with the music. We don't own the music industry. That's one thing we got to understand. We don't own it. It's not ours. White people own it. And they have owned it for a long time. There's a lot of smaller labels that people think that P. Diddy owned Bad Boys, and they're subsidiaries, you might as well call them. Universal Music Group, Sony, Time Warner, they own almost every label. You got Bad Boys, Def Jam, Interscope. All these labels are under Universal. They're under Universal. Cash Money, under Universal. You know, look it up. So these people own these labels. They know what they're doing. They know they're controlling the population. So in the late 80s, early 90s, they understood how powerful this whole thing was. So if you want to start controlling these men, getting them to do things that's going to land them in prison, you got to stimulate them. So of course we had in 1991, New Jack City came out, talking all about the whole drug game, and people looked up to Nino Brown. He was a murdering drug dealer. Looked up to him. You know, then we had Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society and South Central. All these movies came out, and we was looking up to these gangsters, like, you know, to these stories, you know, because we felt like they was reflecting our life. But you got to understand, these people was creating the life we was living in, and then they was projecting it on the big screen to stimulate our situation, so we would react to what we seeing in the movie and produce it out as life, as we just basically putting out what we bringing in. So we creating our reality from the reality that they giving us, and it's a negative reality. And it just, when you really understand this whole thing and when you look at it, it blows you away, the deception of it. And we sitting up here and we defend these people, we defend these rappers, we defend these movie stars, and they destroying us. They fucking sellouts, man. They sellouts. They selling you out, which is why none of them come back to the black community and truly do anything huge to affect the whole community. Think about all of the rich black celebrities we have. We have billionaire black people. So they can come and systematically change the black community. They can get by a Chinese store, get by a Dominican store. I'm gonna take a group of people, I'm gonna send them to school, I'm gonna teach them how to run a business, and I'm gonna put a bunch of black owned businesses in the black community and make sure that money comes back to the black community. They haven't done this. They could have got together and done this. It's not done because the people who give them their money tell them not to do this shit, and they obey them. So when you take this hip hop music and you inject it into these black communities that you created, you know, these projects and these badly crime-ridden neighborhoods full of crime, when you inject this hip hop music into these neighborhoods, you can control the black community by remote control. So you have to understand something. The stimulation of hip hop, the stimulation of hip hop music in these negative gangster movies, they could not work. They could not work. The whole foundation of these things working is based on what? You being in poverty. Because without you being in poverty, hip hop music won't affect you. Because guess what? You don't need the stimulation. You already got the money. The stimulation, that emotion is filled. You're already rich. So you're looking at this hip hop dude like, fuck is you talking about? Nigga, you talking about gonna go rob a store and blow a nigga's brains off? For what? Nigga, I'm gonna lose my money. I'm gonna go to jail. Which is why these white people can't relate to this hip hop music, because they got money. They living good. They can't understand and thinking of, man, why would you go shoot this dude and rob him? You know, what'd he do to you? Oh, this is crazy. But because we live in a reality where that is everywhere, it is just stimulating us, and we like, oh, this stuff goes on, and this is how they make it, and this is what they do. I need to do it to get there. But it can't work. unless you are in poverty, which is why they've been trying to keep us, they've been successfully keeping us in poverty, which is why, okay, we'll give you welfare, sure. It's not going to bring you out of that community, but we'll give your ass some food so you can survive. We'll give you welfare. But we're not going to let you climb out of these communities that we worked so hard to put your ass in. So now, since we know about this whole system and how music is going to be affecting these black people, we're going to build these private prisons because we got to put them somewhere. We got to lock them up, and we're going to make money off of them while they're in there. So that's what these prisons are for. So now, since the whole purpose, since the whole scheme of this whole music thing, this whole stimulation of your brain and your emotions, since it all relies on you being in poverty, the system has to reflect it. So when we send your kids to school, when you send your kids to school, the whole purpose of school is to prepare them for going to prison. It's to prepare them for staying in this system. That's what it's for. Because think about it. You can be, close to middle class family. You live almost on the outskirts of the negative, the real bad black community. Your mom, your dad work, you're raising your kid well. You're trying to control what he watch, but he see a little bit of things. But now he's forced to go to school with these kids from the projects. So now you got these kids from the projects that he bang with, that he gets along with, and they go out and do negative things. And then now they start disobeying the parents. They end up doing something bad, like robbery or beating somebody up bad, and their life is downhill from that. They're gonna land in prison. And when they get out of prison, guess what? They're going to try to get a job, a mediocre job that's going to keep them in that black community, not being able to rise. So, take a step back and look at yourself today. Look at everybody who you grew up with in your neighborhood, people you went to school with. Where are they today? You might got that one, maybe two that went to college. You may got that one who maybe blew up, maybe did something major. But that's rare cases. But majority of the people who you knew from around that time, guess what? They still live in the black community. Some of them still live in the same neighborhood. Some of them still live in their mama house. These people are still there. The system is working for them. The system is working. They got y'all being stuck back in these communities. Now, for you people who are like, man, I went to college. I got a degree. I got a career. I'm working there. But what are you really doing? You working in the system that's designed for you to keep them rich. So you ain't really moving nowhere. If your purpose is not for you to go to school and to one day own your own business and run it for yourself and have your own money, your own company, then what are you really doing? All you're doing is making another man's dream come true. Stay true. You're making them more wealthy. You're not giving back to your family. You're not really giving back to your community. You're doing exactly what the system was designed for you to do. And you think you made it, but you didn't. So now, while your kids are in school, guess what's controlling that atmosphere? Guess what's controlling the conversation and dominating the conversation of the lunchroom, of the kids when they get together? One, it's the popular culture. It's the trends. It's the hip hop music. It's the music. It's controlling everything, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they act, because they have to conform to the trends, because the trend is cool and it's what everybody is doing. So now they're bringing that whole thing with them to school, where it shouldn't be at. The only thing that should be going on in there is learning, but they ain't teaching them nothing that they can really use. You go to these white schools in these white neighborhoods, they teaching their kids how to run companies. They teaching their kids about business and finance. They're teaching their kids a lot of things that they're going to need out in the corporate world to be your children's bosses later on. But they're teaching your kids stuff like algebra, things that they're not going to really need right away to get them out of the situation that they're in. They're teaching them things that's going to cause a disconnect between them and the teacher that will cause them to drop out of school. Because you gotta take a step back and understand that these kids are going to this high school, meaning that they are from this neighborhood, and that neighborhood is impoverished. It has crime written. So a curriculum should be designed around the neighborhood that these children come from and a reality that these kids see every day. So you should be teaching them things like how to directly bring themselves up out of their situation, programs should be put together. It should be, lessons on, what to do, what's the next step after high school, and how important your grades are going to be. SAT scores and things of that nature, not, calculus, algebra, and things that's going to rack their brain and cause them to have a disconnect with the teacher and cause them to not want to be there no more. And now it's a good thing they did start making them wear uniforms, because when I was in high school, it was about fashion, the clothes. So if you're coming from a poor neighborhood and you ain't selling drugs and you're going to school and you got all these kids with these nice clothes on, everything about the fashion, that's going to be another thing that's going to cause a disconnect between you and school, and it'll cause you to drop out of school. But all this is by design. It's just what they want to happen. They don't want your kid to succeed. You have to fight hard to be middle class. It's a hard ass road. So one of the primary objectives of this whole system is to destroy the black family, to create a divide and conquer between the black man and the black woman. Divide and conquer, to create a distrust between the two. And they can do all this by remote control, because this is what hip hop music does. Because black women, you don't understand how powerful you are. You don't understand the level of control that you have when it comes to the black community. Not just your household, I'm talking about the whole community. Because black men, everything that we do is for you. We do it all to get you. That's a fact. A man is not going to go put gold in his mouth. He ain't going to waste his time putting 22s on that car. He ain't going to waste his time getting that car if it's not going to get him that woman. He ain't going to waste his time on that suit, on that chain, if he didn't think it would get the women. Now, where did he think? Where did he get this idea from? He got it from the music videos. He got it from the music. He heard it. He got it from them. And he said, this is how I'll get these women. So I'm going to go out and do what I got to do, because I'm looking at these videos and I see they got women abundantly and they doing whatever they want. They just throwing it out there. This is what I have to do. So it's going to create a distrust, because in these videos, they disrespecting these women. Now, on the other hand, you have black women, and they want their hair done, nails done. They want pedicures. They want nice clothes. They want jewelry, diamonds. They want nice shoes and handbags. They want all these things. And they looking at the same music videos that you look at, and they taking it from a female perspective. They're looking at these girls and they seeing the kind of men that these girls are hanging around who have all these nice clothes and bags and everything. They're seeing that these men are talking about selling drugs, and they hooking their girl up and giving their girl this and that, even though they're talking to their girl like shit, which is why these black women accept it when the music calling you a bitch and they still dancing to it. When the music saying all these nasty things about you, but they still dancing to it. They accept it because they feel like they're connecting with it on an emotional and a mental level. Okay, this is what goes on. This is how it is. This is how I get these things. And they're not even realizing it, most of them. So they dancing to this music, and they're going along and they dating these men who sell drugs, who don't have any ambition but to be a rapper, who don't really have anything, good going on for him, except that he got a little bit of money from hustling. So they dating these negative men because that's what the music is telling them to do. Date these negative men. Stay with these men who going to treat you like shit, Or, you be a whore and find you a baller. Find you a man who got some money. That's all you do. You go after him, you use him to get your clothes, and you use him to get your bags, and that's it. That's how you do it. And it's the music that's putting this whole image out, and we not realizing it. So now you have the club, and you have the black woman coming to the club with everything that the popular culture told her to be. What the music told her to look like, what the music videos told her to look like, what the culture told her to act like. And then you have the man coming to the club the same way, dressed in the way the culture says, acting the way the culture says. And they bring it together at the club. And what's being played at the club? The hip hop music. The music is being played. It's played loud. It's played to a point where it's vibrating everything in you. And then what happens? That song comes on that you like, and you hit the dance floor, and you dancing in a way that the song is telling you to dance. And you are showing that man exactly what he is seeing in those music videos. And he's saying, this is real. This is how it is. So it's validating everything that the music videos is telling them. When this music comes on, these girls dance like this and they dress like this. So I gotta, look like I'm a baller, and I gotta buy them drinks, and I gotta go speak to them, and I gotta get them in this way. But the music also telling me that they are hoes and they're gonna do, whatever. So this is how you meet this person. Y'all come together on this whole deception, and then, y'all expect to, one of y'all expect, or maybe none of y'all expect a beautiful relationship from it. But sometimes the women do. But the man, his whole thing is, I want to have sex and I want to get out of here. Or I want to keep her around until I'm sexed out and I'm done with her. And that's the whole mindset they come in the door with. And then, what's going to happen? What's going to be produced from this whole experience? It's going to be children. Baby is going to come out of this whole thing. And we got to realize that they have so many programs now because they knew what the music was going to do. They knew it was going to cost men to go to jail, so they built prisons. So now we got the whole child support system. We have a whole WIC system. We got a whole system of counselors and daycares and all kinds of things that was put together to give white people more jobs based off of this music, based off of this whole system that they put together that's designed to keep us apart. So think about how many things come out of a bad relationship. Now you have a black woman, she's alone. She got to raise those kids. So she got to work. So now she got to send her kid to public school because she can't afford private school in most cases. And that's where the cycle begins. Because now he in school with kids from a bad neighborhood, if he's not from a bad neighborhood itself. And then, his parents can't really raise him the way that he should be raised. Dad is not in the picture. Mom can't spend attention with him, especially if he's a man. She can't be a man for him and teach him how to be one. So these other men is teaching him. So then now this whole cycle repeats itself. Now, as I said before, we can trace all of this back to the Willie Lynch letter. Now, when you look at what Willie Lynch was trying to implement, we can see that these same things are being implemented today. They just changed the strategy. They just changed the whole system. So when you look at what Willie Lynch was trying to do, he was trying to separate the young and the old. And today, the young and the old are separated. The generations don't respect each other. The young kids will get on the bus and they'll fight and they'll cuss right in front of old people. They won't give up their seat. And they'll do it right in front of old people, and it's just no respect there at all. Another thing, they wanted to separate the dark skin and the light skin. You got all these dark skin actors and actresses changing their skin complexion to light. Making black women hate the color of their skin because Beyonce was dark one moment, next minute she's light. Same thing with Nicki Minaj, and you got these black women hating themselves. They wanted to also separate black men and black women back then. The beautiful black woman was taken up by the white slave master. He took her and had sex with her, and she did what she had to do to survive. And these black women are saying the same thing today. Well, I gotta be a stripper. I gotta survive. I gotta feed my kids. Or I gotta be a hooker. I gotta survive. I gotta feed my kids. Or I gotta be a whore. I gotta go fuck with just ballers and fuck them for money because I gotta take care of myself. I gotta survive. And this is the mentality. Now, of course, you had the black woman. She was looking down at the black slave man because he couldn't protect her. And he couldn't give her the things that this white slave man could give her. Because once that white slave man started treating her well and giving her nice clothes, giving her nice shoes and good food, he told her that she was better than other slave women. So she looked down at those slave women because they was darker, because they was ugly. She looked down at that black slave man, and they both looked down at her because she was a sellout. She didn't fight and take the bumps and bruises like the other slave women did. She didn't fight the slave men off like the other women did and get the beating and get less food and got put in a box or whatever. She didn't fight off his advances. She gave in. So they looked down at her as well. And this is what's going on today. Like black men, we look down at these women because they all about the money. They're all about what they can get from you. It seemed like all of the black women who have really nice bodies, who look really good, they'll just go be a stripper or be a porn star. They'll just go try to find a man who got money and just try to be with a man who's going to take care of her so she don't have to work. But it seems like the women who look good take a different route. I'm only going to find a man or be with a man who got money. So we got to understand what this whole process is, and it's called epigenome. When you really look at epigenome is basically like a gene that can be passed down through your generation to where you will carry the same mental traits as your ancestors. And they know about this. So it's in us to go to church and worship Jesus and say hallelujah and all that. It's in us to look down at each other. It's in us to not trust each other. It's in us to not respect our elderly, because this is a system that was put in place during slavery. All they had to do was stimulate the gene and put the system back in place in a different way. And this is what we have today. So, yeah, of course, there's a church on the corner in every black neighborhood. Of course, they're giving you the music that's going to stimulate that distrust. They're giving you the music videos that's going to create that separation and divide, just like they did back then. They got these black women saying, if you ain't got money, I ain't got time for you. They put everything in place to bring about a whole system of slavery to make us think that we are free and not slaves anymore, but we really are. Because when you look back at everything that we're doing, we are still serving the white man. So if you don't have your own company, your own business, your own kind of economy, then you are still serving the white man. You are serving the dominant race. And that's what black people are doing today. We are still serving them. I mean, it's a fact. So we're looking at these rap stars and these celebrities thinking that they made it. But they are the new house niggas being used to keep you guys in the system and in check. They are complete sellouts. As I said before, they are sellouts, just like the house niggas. So what they did was, now, instead of you hating the house niggas, they got you praising the house nigga. It's a glorified position now to be a rap star or be, a celebrity or a superstar. But you're not serving nobody but them, and you're hurting your own people just like the house nigga. It's the hard facts, and somewhere in you, you know what I'm saying is true. When you're putting everything together, it gotta hit you. What I'm saying has to hit you in some kind of way, like, damn, this shit is real, like this is right. Because what has happened is nobody has stepped back and brought this information to you in this way. There's a lot of, stuff on YouTube and a lot of videos out there and people speaking out about what's going on. But nobody is really trying to attack this whole music industry. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hip hop is ours. It's ours. We created it. It's us. I mean, it's our way to express ourselves. But it don't have to be what it is today. They own it. They own it. It don't have to be this way. It can be something different. Hip hop music could be used to stimulate. I mean, we can bring back the whole black community. We can bring everything back with just hip hop music. It's that influential. These people are that influential. So if we're showing that shaking your ass and selling drugs and all that is so popular that you can blow up off of it, if we reverse that and show that, man, if you go to school and get this education, you'll be successful. Women, if you dress nice, if you act classy, you'll get a man that'll keep you, and he won't want to let you go because he wouldn't want to let another man get what you have. If we showed the woman that, it would change them. But that's not what we are showing them. And all of come on, like, let's stop fronting. How can you sit there and tell me that shoot a nigga in the head till he dead, it's what's popping, it's right? How can you sit there and tell me Anaconda, that video of Nicki Minaj, is right? Listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's talking about. How can you women tell me that twerking is right, it's cool? How can you sit there and say that? Your mind is so messed up by what they have given you that you don't realize the shit that you do is absolutely crazy. And we take up for these celebrities, we take up for these rap stars, and people fight and, heated debates and arguments over somebody who trying to destroy you and your people who have sold you out a long time ago. And in some cases, I can't even blame these dudes because people just so gullible and they act so stupid. When you try to wake them up, they think you crazy. They look at you like you got 7 eyes. So it's like, we gotta wake up and educate each other, because I think with education and everybody can look at this system and see what it really is, we can start stepping back and looking at these rappers like, what you just say? Like, that's crazy what he just said. This motherfucker talking about killing kids and kidnapping kids. I'm not listening to him. That's not what's good. That's not what's going to help our people move forward. Now, what you're going to have is poverty needs to survive in order for their system to survive. You need to be in poverty. So as long as we poor, we're going to keep looking up to these people. But when you ask yourself, when you take a step back and you look at how can any respectable woman, how can any woman who say they want respect from a man, they want to be treated like a queen from a man, they want to be treated good by a man, how can any woman listen to or follow Nicki Minaj and what Beyonce represents? How can you follow these women out here who are telling you to cause a problem in your relationship, to only date men who have money that will treat you a certain way, when you know that what they are saying is going to cause you to do things that is not part of your character for most of you women? That's not really you. It's going to cause you to change and you're going to act a certain way. Now, unbeknownst to you, what they're not telling you is these men are not going to respect you. They're going to only beg you. And guess what? That's exactly what the rappers are telling them to do. That's what they rap about. And y'all dance to the very music that is saying you are a whore. You dance to the same music that's saying, I'm just going to take you home and do this and then I'm going to throw you out. And you laugh and you watch this stuff in these music videos and you dance to it and you watch it and you accept it and you pay money for the album and you pay money to go to these concerts and you scream and all this for these men and women who are destroying you personally. And I mean, come on, you can't look at it and say it's just music. We can't do that no more because we are seeing it. We're seeing the result of it. Look at these kids today. Look at how they act and look at the stuff that's going on at the schools. Look at these little girls and these teenagers. Look at who they are emulating, who they trying to be. You can't go on Facebook now and see a girl with a name that's not Minaj or referencing Nicki Minaj or trying to look like her. It's all about the big booties, who got butt, got to twerk, got to get as many likes and comments as I can get. We know what the music is doing, so don't act like it's not doing these things. Don't act like you don't see it. Don't act like WorldStarHipHop.com is not destroying the black community. So now, while we sitting back and we asking for equal rights and we asking them to, respect black life, we don't even respect it ourselves. So now, looking back at everything that I just showed you, especially as it pertains to crack, the whole black community being messed up by crime, and the hip hop era, which is still going on today, when you look at all that, it sets the stage for what we have today and all of these police shootings. Because now, as I said, while we're screaming out, we want equal justice and black power and all this and that, how do you think the white people are viewing us? How do you think the people around the world are viewing us when we show them twerking, ass shaking, shoot 'em up, kill 'em, bang, bang, selling drugs and poison to each other, fighting each other, and putting videos on WorldStarHipHop.com? How do you think we look to them when that's what we putting out? And then we proud of it. We smile and we laugh and we act like these people. And we ain't got shit, but we trying to act like these people. How do you think that makes us look when we say we want equal rights and we want respect and this and that, and make us look like hypocrites and make us look stupid? Because one, as I said before, these white people, they don't understand it. They don't know what's going on in the community. They don't understand that when you have poverty, it's going to absolutely create crime. They don't understand. They think we have the same choices as they do, as they did, which we know we do not. They don't know what's going on. So it's a part of the whole system because they have to keep our image destroyed. They have to keep the image of the black man and woman in shambles. They have to keep it messed up. They have to show the rest of the world that this is what we are. Don't feel no sympathy for these black people because they are animals. So they gotta give the world shows like First 48, Lock Up, all these shows showing black men in jail and black men killing each other. They have to give you shows like Maury, showing that these black women are whores and they don't even know who their baby daddies is. They got to put shows out there like Jerry Springer saying that black men are gay and this is what's going on. Cheaters. All these shows have to be put out there. We don't get shows like Big Bang Theory. We don't get shows like How I Met Your Mother. We don't get the shows that show black people in a setting looking civilized, showing black people in a setting looking like they have morals, showing black people having touching moments like How I Met Your Mother and these other shows when they have nice, warm, touching moments between each other, between their women and their men. You don't see black shows like that. Instead, we get shows like Empire, You got to be a criminal. You got to be an ex-drug dealer or a rapper. That's the only way. So we have to understand this is psychological warfare, and they're using music and movies against us. So when you take a step back and you start looking at these movies and looking at how black people are portrayed in these movies, then we can see we are always cast in a negative light in most of these Oscar-winning movies. So when you look at movies like Hustle and Flow and Precious, The Blind Side, Monsters Ball, when you look at Selma, Training Day, 12 Years a Slave, The Butler, The Help, we see that in all these movies, it puts us in a negative light or puts us in a demeaning situation that was indicative of slave times, or showing us in a servant's role or in a role that is stereotypical of the black male today. It's always something negative. And these are Oscar nominated and Oscar winning movies. And when you look at the Oscar itself, it's an Egyptian god. It's Ptah. Ptah was the god of creation, the god of arts. He's a craftsman. So they're using our own deity as the award to give to us for bringing our people down and casting us in a negative light. So these are things we all got to look at and understand the psychological warfare and the games that they're playing against us and the things they are putting in the minds of the masses of the people. So movies like The Blind Side, who a lot of people say, that was a warm, touching movie. That was a good movie. But you got to understand that movie cast black people in a real negative light, and it cast white people as the savior of poor black people. It made us look real bad. It was embarrassing to watch, because the sad thing was that was a true story. That really happened to Michael Moore. He later went on to win a Super Bowl and everything, but that really happened to that man. It was embarrassing to me to see it. Like, damn. Like, we that messed up. But then you got to understand that, we've been put in this situation to where, Michael Orr's stories happen. And his story ain't the only story. His story's way worse than his. But, we've been put in a situation where these kind of things happen, and they understand that these things are going on. And they go on to make movies about it. But then they put it out there to the rest of the world who don't understand what's going on in the hood. They don't understand this whole system and what's going on. So how they see us, it's the way these movies are portraying us as destructive people. Moms can't take care of us. Drug addicts. We don't want a better life. We don't want a better future. So this is how we are portrayed. So, Sandra Bullock won an Oscar for that movie. But when these movies get nominated for an Oscar, then everybody say, I got to go see that movie now. John got nominated for an Oscar. I got to go check it out. It's probably good. So then you got more people watching it. And movies like Precious. Precious is one of the most embarrassing black movies of all time. It really destroyed the image of the black woman. It was a dagger, it's a black eye to the image of black women when that movie came out. And then it won an Oscar. Monique won the Oscar in that movie for playing that unbelievable role of Precious' mother. Come on. Y'all seen the movie. Y'all seen how bad that was. So imagine how it must make us look to these white people who don't understand what's going on, who don't get it. It just destroys our image. So now, it's an Oscar-winning movie, so it's put out there. It's blew up even more, now that it won an Oscar. But these are the kind of things that is going on within the movie industry, and we got to realize that it is a weapon that is being used against us. Movies are very powerful. Come on, think about it. What is our claim to fame? All we are their entertainment, just like we used to be. We're entertainers. We play basketball. Ooh, we play football. Some of us might play baseball, or we rapping and singing. That's it. It's entertainment. You're an actor. You're acting. Entertainment for them. What are we doing on a real power economic structure? Nothing. Nothing. We don't have a voice. We have no power. So they can walk right over us because we don't even sit nowhere where we can make a difference. They have all the seats. They have all the power. We are just slaves. Still to this day, slaves. So when we sit up here and we say that we want things to change, but nobody's doing anything to change anything. Everybody's staying the same. When we sit up here and we put on our hoodies and we wear our shirts that say, I can't breathe, and we do all this and that, meanwhile, we go post a video of two black people fighting. We go post a video of something negative portraying black people in a ignorant, stereotypical role. This is what we're doing. And then we see white people following us. And it's another thing I don't understand, see, because black people believe that just because white people doing it, it somehow makes it good because white people doing it too. You know, because white people rapping, it's okay. Because white people twerking, it's okay. Well, they doing it too. Well, they are in power. This is the setup. So because, yeah, we marching and white people marching with us, that's the okie doke. Y'all falling for that. Y'all falling for the okie doke. Yeah, they want y'all to march because nothing's going to change. It's going to shut y'all right up. They want y'all to march. They want y'all to get upset so they can bash y'all heads in and in some cases kill y'all. So now they got the new NWA movie coming out now that's going to bring up all those old feelings. The whole Rodney King beating, the whole fuck the police thing. It's a setup. They got all these movies coming out now, these racially tensioned movies set at a specific time, perfectly timed to come out around a time when this whole racial tension is going on. You got cops still killing homeless people. You got a lot of stuff going on. They want to bring out something like NWA movie that a lot of black people going to go see, and it's going to bring up a lot of, emotions. And I'm telling you, black people, first of all, when these cops stop you, understand they're killing niggas. So just lay flat. Go the fuck down. All that fighting and shit, it's going to get you killed. Because as soon as you touch their weapon, they're going to say you try to take it and they're going to kill you. Just chill out. Like, you have no rights. I made the video showing you don't have any rights. So all that shit you're talking about, I got rights and I know the law. No, you don't. You don't know what's going on. If you're in that country, they own your ass. There's nothing you can do about it. Fuck all the shit you saw on TV or you saw in some movie. If you have an ID, a driver's license, a social security card, a birth certificate, and all that, they own your ass. You are U.S. government property. So I want you to recognize and realize that, yes, no matter what, life should be preserved. They shouldn't be killing and murdering nobody at all. I mean, let's keep it real. That's definitely wrong. But you have to understand, what argument do we have when we glorify killing each other? When we glorify being whores and hoes? When we glorify selling our bodies? When we glorify everything that's wrong with the black community? We glorify it every single day. We wear the clothes that say, I'm a killer, I'm a thug, I'm a drug dealer. Our whole walk, everything about us says that we are exactly what the media has been saying we are, and we portray it every day. We put it out there, but then soon as something happens, we say, oh, that's not me, that's not right, that's not us. And it's a setup. The whole thing, it's a setup. It's been designed to murder you, to kill you, to set you up. The whole thing is a setup. So you can't look at these white people and say that, they're racist. We are putting out exactly what they gave us to put out. You can't look at these white people and say, you can't look at them and say that they are wrong for the way that they feel, when we are putting out exactly the vibes that's giving them what they feel. We putting it out there. Because if we had shows like, How I Met Your Mother and The Big Bang Theory and all these other shows that show white people in a positive light, if we had shows like that show black people in a positive light, if we had shows like that show black people being, having warm, touching moments between each other, black man, black woman having a great relationship, raising kids, like what the Cosby Show was, what Family Matters was. We had those shows for a second, they're gone now. So if we had those kind of shows again, and the music reflected it, if we were leaders in business and industry, if we had some kind of economic development going on, in our community, if we own businesses, if we wasn't putting out fight videos, if we wasn't doing all the crazy stuff we are doing today, then it's nothing that they could say. They would see us in the light we should be shown in as, responsible, positive people. But that's not what we're putting out. So we can't even argue anything to the contrary when we putting this stuff out. I mean, come on. So this is not me. Obviously, I'm not taking a side, but I'm saying pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're putting out. because you get back what you put out. It's just that simple. So you putting out videos of these kids doing all these things and fighting and all this and that, and then what happens? Your kid come home from school suspended because he got into a fight. You getting it right back. They putting out TV shows of good things and smart kids and showing white kids, having skills and doing all kinds of positive things. They putting out, kids into the school district that's already, who already know stuff, who's smart. And guess what they get back? They get back doctors and lawyers. They get back people who running companies. That's what they get back. They've been getting back that for years. What we've been getting back? Convicts, drug dealers. Now, everything that I just shown in this video is common knowledge. I mean, all y'all know this stuff, man. And y'all not stupid. Y'all just as smart as me or even smarter. I mean, y'all understand what I'm saying. I know this resonates with a lot of you, but the problem is most people, they can't look past the fact that I'm not Jay-Z. I'm not Kanye West. I'm not somebody who's famous. So my words mean doo-doo. What I'm saying is nothing. It's who are you? Who is this guy? So what? He's speaking. Who cares? So to the people who actually take the time to watch my videos, thank you. I see every time somebody shares my video, just another thing I want to say. And thank y'all. I've been watching it be popping up like, such and such shared my video. I'm like, wow, these people really sharing it. I've watched the views go up in some of the videos. And, it's going to be people like y'all who get this message out there. It's going to be people like y'all who's responsible for the revolution. It's not going to be these actors. They sold y'all out already. They sellouts. It's going to be us. There's going to be people like you, people like me who are responsible for the change if such a change occurs. So, I want to thank y'all for taking the time to actually watch this. But one of the things that I think a lot of people are not seeing is where this video is going, where we are going as a people. And I think you got to step back and look at everything that we are seeing. You're seeing black people being killed for nothing. We're being murdered. They're showing us that they're trying to get rid of us. They've been throwing us in jail for years for the smallest things. The whole thing about jail is to get you to go to jail and you take a plea deal. Because if you get locked up for something and you plea, to save some jail time, guess what? You still got a record. And now you really stuck in the system. Your life is over. It's destroyed. You have a felony on your permanent record. You're not going to be able to get no job. So now you are stuck in the system until you can figure out a way to get it off, which is why all these black men are trying to become rappers, because that's the only way out. So the music game, poverty, sucked you in, caused you to be a drug dealer. You got arrested. Now you have that felony on your record. Now you have no choice but to be a rapper, to be the very thing that is responsible for you being in the situation that you are in, to be a hip hop star, because that's the only way you feel like you can make it. Don't want to go to college, ain't finished high school in some cases. You don't want to go work for somebody and, struggled on that and, because you can't get a job in the first place with a felony, but you don't want to do that anyway. You want what you see on TV. You want what you believe is going to get you those girls. So guess what? Since you can't get that job, you got to hustle, which is going to put you right back in prison. Then you're going to come back out and you're going to push more towards your rap career. I mean, the cycle just keep continuing. So you're in your 30s and then, it finally hits you that, I got to get a job. So now you the saddest thing in the world. You this 30, 40-year-old, used to have skills, hip hop dude, or used to be running the block, drug dealer, now working at Walmart. Used to be the man. Now you're working at Foot Locker because it hits you in your 30s and 40s because you got kids running around, child support on your ass. It then hits you that, I got to get real and I got to start working. I mean, don't wait so long. It's not too late, but this is the system.